This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
All right, work with us, Roger.
I don't want you. I want you to perform. Perform!
Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here with you from the KFAB studio in beautiful downtown Dundee. This is the only show that focuses on the growth and development of your favorite city. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with D&M Roofing and Siding. And it's time to introduce my co-host, a man right now who is wearing his bright red and white Anderson Convenience Market hoodie sweatshirt, Trenton Magid.
I've got to represent. I'm trying out for the new Anderson Convenient Market poster child contest. My friend Ray Anderson Jr. does not know that he's having a contest, so I stand a pretty good chance.
You're going to be the mascot? Yeah. I have a picture of you and all the stores and, kind of like maybe Ray could do, that company that, what is it, Russell Speeders has that big guy with the raincoat? Maybe there could be a big Trenton statue outside the Anderson Convenience Market.
Yeah, they want people to come use their services, though.
Anderson Convenience Market sponsors the restaurant and retail section of our Grow Omaha newsletter. And I got to tell you, I'm a little bit jealous of that sweatshirt. Do you think you could get Ray to give me one of those?
He listens, so either Shelley, his wife, or Ray, if he's listening. What size are you?
XL.
XL?
I would love an XL one.
Ray, you better give him a double X.
No, I think XL is good. I'm going back in the right direction lately.
Well,
so
I'm just glad we're here this morning. If you've looked at your weather on your phone, unless you have a Jeff Beals Android phone, did you get the red flag alert as well?
Yeah. So it was on all the weather forecasts. And
so here's the National Weather Service, and it's a large part of I assume eastern Nebraska and western Iowa, a red flag alert because the humidity is very low and it's probably windy, and they're concerned about fires igniting and spreading. And it makes me so appreciative of the Army Corps of Engineers a couple years ago that made sure that I had 30 feet of less forest behind my house, since I live up against Zorinsky's forest. And
they spent all that money doing that environmental degradation of millions of trees. Yes.
Yes. And so now, I've heard rumors about, I think it was 1846 or something, the Great West Omaha Forest Fire. And so I feel so much safer.
Back when West Omaha was nothing but prairie grass.
Exactly. So I've stopped flicking spent cigarettes off my back deck.
Well, considering that you don't smoke, that probably wasn't too hard of an adjustment for you.
Oh, yeah, good point.
That red flag thing, though, kind of a serious deal with as dry as it's been, and the wind. The last few days it has just been windy. It's definitely got that Great Plains feel, although the temperature is great, and it's been sunny and everything else. So enjoy the spring weather as long as you don't get blown away.
I hope there's no spontaneous combustion or something like that.
Let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. You can find them at 114th and Davenport, just south of 114 and Dodge, and online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. But, we're in April now, and spring and summer, big home buying seasons of the year. And if you are going to join that home buying parade, one of the first things you want to do is go to Eagle Mortgage, sit down with a mortgage broker, get a pre-approval letter. The nice thing about these mortgage brokers is they can shop a bunch of different banks. They're not beholden or tied into one. And they can really just kind of guide you through the process. We have been working with them for about 10 years here on Grow Omaha, and sent countless people there to get those loans, and everyone has been pleased, satisfied, delighted. Holly Schneidwin and her team do an outstanding job. eaglemortgagecompany.com is the name. So let's go into the news we have this week. A couple of little transportation public service announcements in the downtown area, if you will. The Martin Luther King Jr. pedestrian bridge is going to close next week for 5 days to accommodate construction work on Lewis and Clark Landing. Now, this is the bridge. If you get down there at all, you've probably seen it if you walk around the riverfront, but it's kind of hidden from 10th Street. It's back behind the CHI Center, and it connects the CHI Center to the riverfront. And anyway, so that's it's used by a lot of people that are maybe going from the Bob Carey Bridge to downtown. It's kind of a bridge to a bridge, if you will. And then the Riverfront Drive and Douglas Street extension will open Friday, April 14th. That'll give drivers direct access to Heartland of America Park and Lewis and Clark Landing. Now, this is different down there because, the Lewis and Clark Landing and Heartland of America Park have been going through the $300 million renovation. In fact, the two parks won't be completely done and open until late this summer. However, the Kiewit Luminarium, which sits on Lewis and Clark Landing, is opening next week. And so this is going to be done in order to get access to that, even though a lot of the park around the new Luminarium will still be under construction.
Now, does the Martin Luther King Bridge have anything to do with the Baby Bob?
No, but that's a good question. So the Martin Luther King Jr. pedestrian bridge hooks up to the kind of outdoor plaza on the south side of the CHI Center, and it takes you over to Lewis and Clark Landing, kind of close to where the old Rick's Cafe boatyard was, which is actually where Kiewit Luminarium is now. The Baby Bob is going to be a pedestrian bridge to a pedestrian bridge on the north side of the CHI Center.
I want my Baby Bob, Baby Bob, Baby Bob.
I want my Baby Bob. So that one has already started. I was down in the area scouting all of this.
We need to find a map.
I was down in that area scouting a couple of these things this week, and it looks like there's a lot of prep work for that Baby Bob. So the Baby Bob, let's say you are on the north side of the CHI or you're at Charles Schwab Field and you want to go over to the riverfront, it'll be a direct shot. In fact, part of it, I believe, will actually open up onto the Bob Carey Bridge. But that's going to take probably, year and a half to complete.
So I think we need to find some drawings from the city and post them on our Facebook page.
Yeah, you should get right on that.
Not it. Jeff's it. You guys heard it.
So there you have it. A lot of bridge and transportation and parking stuff going on in that riverfront area. Construction has gone vertical and is progressing on Alora 168. Alora 168. This is a 17-acre apartment development, southeast corner of 168th and Highway 370. They're called apartminiums because there are apartment units, but they're designed more like as if you had a condominium unit. And Trenton, if you're on that 370 corridor right now, this is just one of a lot of projects. If you go a little further west, Hy-Vee is coming along, and
192nd
probably won't take too long before it's open.
Northeast corner.
And then west of that is where we believe Fleet Farm is going. You have a car wash going in that area, a Culver's, several other businesses, a lot of housing nearby. So that 370 corridor west of Interstate 80 is really going to fill.
And almost all of it is in developers' hands.
Yeah, and what you're going to see, it kind of reminds me of 204th Street through West Omaha and Sarpy County, in that a lot of the housing that's about a quarter mile or a mile back is popping up, and then they're saving the first quarter mile for commercial development.
And fun fact, a lot of people think that when you go to the outlet mall in Gretna,
Nebraska Crossing.
That's right, Nebraska Crossing.
That not just an outlet mall.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Pardon me, Rod. When you get off, that is not 204th Street.
No.
That is in front of the at the entrance of Nebraska Crossing. That's what,
216th.
216th Street, but it's also Highway 6.
And 31. Well, by the time you get to Nebraska Crossing, 6 veers off to the west to go to Ashland. So as you run along the west side of Nebraska Crossing, that would technically just be 31 there.
Okay,
but barely.
So there's been a lot of talk about a need for another interchange at the actual 204th and I-80.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of talk about different locations for it and stuff. I believe that that's where the intersection should be, is at 204th and I-80.
Yeah, the 204th one makes a lot of sense because Gretna and private developers in that area have big plans. I know Nebraska Crossing has talked publicly about another 1,000 acres that it could be involved in, with big-time tourist attractions and blockbuster retailers. And a lot of that is pretty likely to happen, actually. If the interchange was at 204th, that would make it happen. I would argue, and it's going to be expensive, you kind of need one at both 204th and 192nd because there's going to be so much traffic in that area and so much development. I mean, think about it, through Interstate 80, through the stem of I-80 through Omaha, there's an exit every mile. There's an exit every mile, and every one of them's packed. Well, that part of Sarpy County out there is going to be packed. There is going to be heavy development out there. You probably need, you can't have one at 180th very easily because of the way things are laid out there. But 192nd and 204th, you could be able to do both of those.
And, I liken this, and I know a lot of our listeners haven't been down there, but if you go check it out online, I've had the good fortune to meet my friends in the Brass Furniture Mart, Ryan Blumkin, going down to Grandscape, which is in the Colony, Texas, which I liken it to Gretna as to Omaha, where they basically came in with $1.5 billion development, and it spurred all kinds of office buildings, residential, other complementary commercial, and everything you could imagine, a mixed-use development. And that's really what I see Gretna could be. Its own version, of course.
I completely agree. And all of that is very possible there, and in a lot of ways, quite likely. We'll see how it actually shakes out and what businesses end up opening out there. But that exit at Gretna, I agree. I see that being a big time development, with Nebraska Crossing being the anchor.
So what we're saying is, if you own land in Gretna, farmland, commercial land, large tracts of residential land, you should call Trenton Magid. And I'm easy to find online. My number's out there. And I'd be happy to represent you in getting the most for your land.
So that is what we're saying. And I will back you up on that, though. Anyone who does choose you to be their commercial real estate broker is always very happy.
And I have 3 80-acre parcels right now in Sarpy County that are currently farms that are going to go commercial. 3 different well-respected developers. And now's the time to sell land. It's a seller's market, but there's money out there. Everybody's worried about interest rates and things like that. But a lot of these developers that have done so well over the years are willing to step up and pay good prices. So we've been involved in a number of transactions, and it helps with development, and we're all for it.
Well, after all of this Gretna and Sarpy County talk, let's get a little urban. First of all, update on skyscraper construction at 14th and Farnham. You got a couple of construction cranes that are on site now. These are not tower cranes that'll eventually be, 750 feet in the air. These are cranes designed to help crews get the foundation started, and a lot of activity on the site there on the square block that will be Mutual of Omaha. Metro Transit recently celebrated Orbit's 1 millionth ride. Orbit is the Omaha Rapid Bus Transit System, which goes from Westroads Mall to downtown Omaha. Opened in November of 2020 and just had its millionth ride. I got to tell you, for years and years, you would drive by City of Omaha bus, and it seems like seldom would you see very many people on it, except for maybe during rush hour or something like that. But I've noticed over the last several months, even if it's really cold outside, go by the Orbit stations on Dodge, there's usually someone waiting for the bus there. I think that system is going to get more and more popular just because it runs so conveniently, runs so quickly. It's on such a dense, by Omaha standards, a densely populated line, and it seems to be spurring a lot of real estate construction.
It'll be interesting to see in 2026 whether the start of the streetcar, whether it'll spin off into people will start riding the metro, the actual buses again, more and more.
Well, there's an article in the paper, World Herald this morning, Omaha.com, that was talking about Metro adding 7 new routes and increasing frequency. So, and that always comes with a little bit of controversy because that service is not inexpensive. And we taxpayers have to carry a burden for that. But we do have a severe labor shortage here in Omaha. And if there are ways that we can get people looking for jobs to jobs, at the same time, benefit lower income communities, this is probably a good thing. Because, we are getting to be a bigger city, and we've got to be able to get our workers as quickly and as easily to these jobs as we can, because we desperately need more people to work.
Yeah, and I've also been tracking the influx and following a correlation of the metro bus ridership increases with the number of DUIs that people get. So I don't think that's a good sign. But so I'm hoping that DUIs go down, but then the ridership still stays up.
We'll look forward to reading this white paper you're presumably writing about this, in which you're going to justify and explain all this so-called research you've done on this subject.
Yeah, it's called the Blow Start Chronicles.
The Omaha City Council voted 7-0 against roundabouts that would turn Farnham Street into a two-way all-day road. Currently, Farnham, between Happy Hollow Boulevard and the Med Center area, converts to a one-way road during weekday rush hours. A proposed engineering design supported by the city would have turned it into two-day all-day with roundabouts at 50th and 52nd Street, but the city council said,
Nixnay from the neighborhood way.
Yeah, a lot of neighbors were upset about pedestrian safety, so we'll keep our eye on that.
I wonder what Warren Buffett would have thought. Just a roundabout by his house.
Yeah, we'll keep our eye on it and see how that plays out and keep you informed of that project. And, I think it makes a lot of sense to go two-way, but there is something a little bit kind of cool with the way that it switches, although it can be kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
And with that, we have completed your News of the Week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. When we come back, Trenton and I are going to, frankly, we're going to talk about more News of the Week because we've got other stories. Nebraska is the most financially literate state. We have national publications talking about Omaha growth and development. Omaha hotel revenue is up. We've got a lot of things to talk about in the next segment, so stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Pray.com's Meditative Prayers podcast.
I don't want to brag, but
God's perfect peace.
I'm pretty sure that was a perfect segment.
Each meditative prayer helps you focus
What
on
do you
God,
think?
fight anxiety.
Comment below.
Comment below.
As you close your eyes,
Put your comments below.
Blow Start Chronicles.
Clever.
open yourself to the Holy Spirit
Yeah, very clever.
and ask Him to
All right, so we're going to open up
Happy
with,
Easter, ladies and gentlemen.
On the iHeartRadio
Omaha hotel revenue.
wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is
Okay.
Eric with D&M Roofing.
And
The
then,
storm hits your commercial property, you feel overwhelmed. To the storm and the insurance process. But
So
D&M
then we're gonna
Roofing is
go
on your
to-
side and has been for 50+ years.
They're the
With
best.
services like our free no-cost risk
In and
management
out.
for commercial properties.
Just what a roofer should
we
be all
provide
about.
preventative analysis to potential
Fine
damage,
quality.
repair, and documentation of any issues found. Does your commercial roofing company do that? D&M Roofing. Find us online at dandmroofing.com.
we'll talk about Builders
Let's get
District
that
during the
fixed.
One of the
Noddle
worst things a business
company
can
section.
do is ignore estate taxes that can take 40% of your estate when you die. Often the business has to be
I ran into
auctioned
Kurt
off
Brand and
without
his son
paying
Ian,
tax.
remember them?
Call me
Yeah.
Dave Nabby and I'll help you avoid your
Fine,
tax.
folks.
Yeah, we had lunch with him or something. Well, then Ian, I remember back when he was in high school, won some awards at MOBA, and he was in some. And
Handsome kid.
I remember I was doing some program for MOBA, like a Grow Omaha overview, and he was there getting a reward. Yeah, cool family.
I've known him forever.
And it's easy to
His
do.
dad.
Just call us. Schedule a pickup time today by calling 1-800-SA-TRUCK.
Let's
1-800
shine the light, Amy, on Roger Olson. Roger had his hair done. 1973.
It's a little long.
What about me?
Get a look over there. You can get in there too.
No, he said no.
I know my
I'm
hair's
gonna
long.
respect.
Amy's outfit.
Amy's the only one around here that respects her.
Amy's outfit, which she hand washed
And I
and
didn't say
dried,
she hand sewed.
somehow it shrank.
It shrank horribly.
So decide. So show them your army boots. Come on over.
No.
Get over here and show us your
I'm all
outfit.
red now.
So come on over.
Okay.
Hold on.
Look, too bad.
Look.
Oh, that's a little bit shorter. Yeah.
It's a little
Yeah.
bit shorter somewhere.
And
Does those pants go with those army boots?
no, this goes with everything.
a spinal infection while on
I don't know if those patterns go together.
Chris is gonna love this.
Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness.
What else else are we looking for here? This is how sausage gets made. I'm doing the next part of the show right now.
Yeah, just in time.
And what is Trenton doing?
Trenton's got a cozy job on the Grandma Show. It's hard to come up with all this.
You're promoting the Uncut.
Yeah. It's hard to get all this comic levity, off the cuff. The reason why I don't prepare as well as Jeff does is that I want mine to be fresh, not canned, and I do take comedic risks.
So you can talk about red flag warnings.
And I know that the listeners
and you can talk about fire
are laughing
breaks.
their asses off when Jeff poo-poos some of my original material.
Probably because I take it so straight, man. Like, hey, that's funny.
is everywhere you are. Download our free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid at your service. The show is brought to you by D&M Roofing and Siding, along with Dingman's Collision Center. So we had a little situation in our family. One of the family members bumped another car in a high school parking lot.
I heard about this.
A couple weeks ago, and so we talked to the owner of that car and said, we owe you a repair job.
But
And
your son left him a note, right?
yeah, he's a good kid. Yeah, he fessed up to it.
I
and all
wonder
that.
why I got a call. He put my number on it. Thanks, Jack Beals.
See, now that's the old Tony, the old Trenton I used to know. That was a good one. That was a good one right there. So I said to the father of the kid whose car was in the parking lot that got scraped a little bit. I said, hey, Dingman's Collision Center will take good care of you, and the closest location to where this car owner lived was the 144th and Industrial Road location. So he took the car up there, and he's like, yeah, boy, they treated us great and all that. They're getting it done. They're going to get it fixed. It'll be just like it was before.
Just coming out of pocket?
Well, sure. But at any rate, always good to just send people to Dingman's, because you just know they're going to do such a good job, and you can always count on them, and they're so reliable. So for Omaha area locations, they also offer mechanical services as well. So some things we have to talk.
A good teaching moment.
Yeah, parenthood is full of good teaching moments.
Hope you get out of being grounded for.
Oh, no grounding, just a teachable moment. So anyway, on to business here. We have some good news coming out of the hotel industry. Omaha hotel revenue hit a record $251 million in 2022. That was up 25% from 2021. This was according to a report published in the World Herald last week. Before the pandemic, so in 2019, the revenue was $219 million. So things are really looking good.
And you say, so it's up, I didn't catch the number, so it's up over pre-pandemic levels.
Yes. So
that's really the
first thing I said is it went up 25% from 2021 and up. Let's see here, $32 million from 2019.
We'll take it. That's a great sign.
Yeah, it's very, very encouraging.
And only 37% of that was the homeless that I'm sorry. I thought I was in California for a second.
Hey, boy. Okay, so let's talk about a couple other big things we have going on in terms of Omaha getting national publicity and exposure. The first one is Real Estate Journals, RE Journals. It's a Chicago-based publisher of real estate news. They have some national news. They do some regional news, but they cover commercial real estate. And Trent and I have been reading them for decades. And
I might have been in the inaugural class of the 40 over 40 successful real estate names in the Midwest, and I achieved that accolade honor when I was 38. So I was wise beyond my years.
So anyway, this RE Journals out of Chicago ran an article about Omaha's commercial real estate market. And kind of the theme that they started with was Omaha being resilient during uncertain times. Very true. In fact, I almost kind of get a little tired about reading about that theme when you read national real estate publications of Omaha, because it's been going on so long, thankfully. That's almost kind of like an old story. But We are. And, this market does tend to do well during good times, bad times, normal times. It's a steady place. It talked about how Omaha weathered the COVID-19 ill-advised shutdown pretty well compared to almost anywhere else in the country. Now, in the article, Baird Home attorney Amy Lawrenson was quoted, and she talked about the number of reasons why Omaha's market is steady, and she identified local developers taking a conservative approach to projects, a strong roster of Fortune 500 companies, and I would add several other additional Fortune 1000 companies, and the philanthropic nature of Omaha's business leaders.
Right, and the success, and I think that I don't think people here fully understand the amount of wealth that is in Omaha per capita, and especially in the development community where a lot of projects get done with cash, and especially with rates going higher, so it's insulated us from a slowdown where other places that are too leveraged. So we're very fortunate to be in Omaha, and we're attracting a lot of different people from out of town. We had Spencer and I, the old Saigon Surface building downtown, a client that served in the military. He actually called me because he listens to our show. Thank you very much. And Spencer did a great job, got that 5,000 square foot building. It's an office condo under contract, and now we have it for lease.
Okay, people probably don't know who this Spencer is you're talking about.
Oh, Spencer Morrissey in our office, our colleague, does some great stuff. And so he and I have that for lease, the old restaurant down on 14th Street. So if anybody's looking for a restaurant downtown, we've got it for lease.
Nebraska is the most financially literate state in America, according to Wallet Hub's 2023 list of the nation's most and least financially literate states. Nebraska, number 1. The top 5, number 1, Nebraska, number 2, Utah, 3, Virginia, 4, Colorado, 5, Minnesota. This was based on 17 key metrics of all 50 states plus Washington, D.C. Nebraska's best category was financial planning and habits, where we ranked 3rd. What about states nearby? Colorado was 4th, but Iowa, number 6, Missouri, 20, Kansas, 23, South Dakota, 44. Going to take our middle of the show break for the news, and when we come back, we're going to talk about whether Nebraska is an affordable or expensive place to start a business. And we're also going to talk about a very cool indoor entertainment business that is planning to go into a former Gordman store in West Omaha. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Your vehicle is important. It gets
We
you
still
where you
need to talk
to go,
about.
but it
Did
does
we
much
talk
more
about both Dingman's
I'm
and
Darcy with Dingman's Collision.
D&M is next. Yeah, because we did Dingman's on that one, and then we'll do D&M on this one.
But how cool is that? Like, a guy called in, was in the military, still listens to our show.
Yeah,
And
cool.
it was like he had to have that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that is cool.
Spencer did a good job.
Yeah, good stuff. So that's Saigon Surface. So you have someone in there, or you're coming in there, or what?
We have release.
Okay. I mean, do you have leads?
grant their wishes for
You got prospects?
I just got it.
Okay.
Always.
Well, I thought you had like leads and prospects before you even listed.
Always.
We don't mess around. Our rates are so low. You'll feel like
It's funny. I have had lunch with
if you're a business
showed on
in
the building,
need
but had
of
lunch
equipment or
with
working
Travis
capital, go to
Dingman
leaseme.com.
and his
We'll
brother
hook you up faster than you
and
can say, lease me, baby.
and Andy. And I was the first one to point out to Travis that, and this is like 5 years ago, maybe longer, that it's Andy D at Dingmans.com. And then it's Travis D at Dingmans.com. So because I told him that, he doesn't like to tell people that it's TravisD.com, so he like spells it out or something. Travis D.
Is here at
Oh, I was in Travis D. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Travis
Okay.
D.
Okay, yeah. I was kind of wondering, yeah.
There's a law firm in town. There's a law firm in town, and the secretary or paralegal, her last name is Cups.
Yeah.
And like they go by the first initial, and then the last name. So her name is like D Cups at.
That'd be tough. That'd be a tough one.
Better than if her name was Al. Ashley.
Hey, cups. No, depends what you're into.
My favorite was when
lease space to Omaha Bible Church. A guy that used to be huge in Blair Economic Development,
Phil Green.
Phil Green, nice guy. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. He was P. Green at Omaha Bible Church.
I remember.
It was one of my favorites. And then I think that they should get a new name for.
Are they building something next to Omaha Bible Church on 680? They've been filling. I don't know if they're using it as a place to discard excess dirt, but man, they've been filling up a big.
Oh really? Let it settle for a long time.
Yeah.
But I really think that therapistfinder.com should get a new website, because if you look at it, it says the rapist finder. Kind of,
Yeah, you might.
It's unfortunate.
You might want to play with that a little bit. Yeah, that's not so good.
How's JeffBeals.com doing?
It's busy.
Drive a lot of traffic.
Oh, my website? Yeah, that's a good job. Yeah, it's maintained by Arbor Creative.
Arbor Creative kicks ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Arbor Creative, our friend Chris Corey is editing this, and I'm sure he will turn up the volume when we talk about Arbor Creative.
Chris Corey is so cool. Chris Corey is so handsome.
If he even had one more freckle, he couldn't be better.
Fox's Tony J.
Does have some freckles, doesn't he?
has asked several major carriers to
Chris, we love you.
the New York area by up to 10%.
No, anyway, JeffBeals.com is doing well.
Does OmahaDevelopment.com still feed into GrowOmaha.com? It's supposed to.
I don't know, let me check. Is that like one of those URLs you bought?
Yeah.
OmahaDevelopment.com.
Now, the News Radio
How many do you have?
1110 KFAB.
I've cut down. I haven't renewed a lot of them.
It's kind of an addiction. Yes, it does go to Omaha. Good job. What else do you have pointed at Omaha? Afraid to ask.
SmackThatApp.com.
Smack that up.
I did have Spack that up one night.
Why?
Because when Spacks were supposed to get big,
Oh.
I had all kinds of Spack tackle.
So you wanted to be a squatter and then just sell it to someone?
Where does Omaha Calendar go?
Omaha.
I've had that for 20 years, people. And Beals never supported it.
Who was going to do all the work though?
Just trying to find a partner.
OmahaCalendar.com. I'm trying to see where it goes. Right now I'm just getting the circle of death.
Prices you can buy it.
Wood mulch is just $2 a bag after sale price and rebate. Add the finishing touch with the Anoka LED.
For the legions of people that type in Omaha Calendar.
Where does
site cannot be reached.
We have
site can't be reached.
GrowOmahaMedia.com. Where does that go? That should be going here too.
Omaha Media.
Chris, can you help us with that? Or is that Brad?
GrowOmahaMedia.com. Nothing. It's just
GoDaddy.
It says this domain is registered but may still be available.
I don't think so.
If you're interested, try our domain broker service. What other website? It's like, what do you? How many hundreds?
If you're tuned in, can you connect Grow Omaha Media into GrowOmaha.com? Thank you.
You'd be like, Trent, can you save some websites for the rest of us?
Charge Beals.
How many you own? How many URLs do you think you own?
Not that many. I cut way down. I got TrentonBaggett.com.
Over 100 or under?
Omaha. No. I'd be surprised when
At your peak.
I'd be surprised
when you were addicted.
I've never owned more than 20.
Huh.
True.
Really?
No way. I remember sometimes you were buying 20 in a day, weren't you?
Not true.
If you're fired up about something.
Tired of walking into a dull and uninspiring
I've had some good ones though.
Want to inject some life into your environment? Look no further than Ren's.
You really?
If I couldn't get .com or something, I would usually not get it.
Murals and window film to recognition
I probably own.
walls and more. We have the expertise to transform your space. So whether you're looking to
12 to 15 of them.
No, I look up a lot to see if I can, if they're available or something, just to see if it's cool.
But then, unless you know how to like sell them, and one time I put them on some site or whatever, got nothing out of it. And I don't.
Remember the time when you were on Channel 6 News and they're like,
Omaha Arena.
Omaha Arena is owned by this man.
I got three.
Who bought the URL?
I got 3 minutes with Brian Mastery on like primetime news, and I gave it to Mecca, ladies and gentlemen.
News Radio 1110 KFAB and KFAB.com, an iHeart radio station.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Deal sitting next to Trenton Maggot. We're brought to you by D&M Roofing and Siding and Dingman's Collision Center. D&M Roofing and Siding is the company you call for both commercial and residential roofs. And we're in spring now. The weather is really warming up. And so a lot of people have been kind of sitting on some roof repairs. They didn't want to do it in the winter. There's some things that maybe aren't the best things to do on certain roofs when it's really cold. Well, all of that is in the rear view mirror now. And so if you have been hesitating with any roof maintenance or roof repairs, stop doing that and go ahead and contact D&M Roofing and Siding. Eric Obrumt is the owner there, and he has assembled an outstanding team that just does top quality work. You're going to love their customer service. Their prices are very fair, and the deliverables make you happy.
I've had them do multiple roofs, both flat.
Yeah, you weren't on for a second, but go ahead.
I've had D&M Roofing do flat and shingled roofs for my family and myself, and they do a fabulous job.
It's time for our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, which is brought to you by Noddle Companies. NoddleCompanies.com is where you can find them online. But wherever you find them, you should know that they are one of the Midwest's elite real estate development companies. They do a lot of mixed-use projects, specialty commercial projects. Been doing more and more residential stuff lately. In fact, Noddle Companies is working on a cool kind of like a urban-style housing thing at 63rd and Shirley Street on the east side of Exarban Village. But one of their projects that is big time and high profile in Omaha is the Builders District. The Builders District is in north downtown, just west of Charles Schwab Field and east of Creighton University. The anchor of the Builders District is Kiewit's World Headquarters. And right across the street,
Kiewit University.
Right across the street from the Kiewit headquarters, we've been talking about a project over the last several months that's getting underway. It is a 5-story office building constructed of mass timber instead of steel interior supports.
It has some steel.
That building is just about ready to go vertical. I drove by on my Gromaha tour this week, and foundation stuff is going great. I think you're going to start seeing that go vertical really quick.
Were there crews there hosing down the fire or hosing down the wood? Because of the red flag alert today?
The wood was not yet on site, but they are very close to going vertical. Then across the street, the Kiewit headquarters, that's been done for over a year now. But if you look at the Builders District, this is kind of a little interesting piece of trivia. I saw this on eOmaha forums this week. If you look at the master plan, the site plan documents for the whole Builders District, because there's a lot more to come in the Builders District that hasn't even been started yet, there's actually a little bit of a small office expansion for Kiewit University on top of the parking garage.
Oh, sweet.
So it looks like, that's something that could happen down the road. Kind of a nice little piece of Builders District trivia for you
And I
today.
wouldn't be surprised if we see another hotel or see a hotel in that area. The park, Sam Noddle's talked about all kinds of amenities for a park, and it's going to be its own district. It's not going to be a copy of Millwork Commons or the Capital District. It'll be its own identity with a lot of landscaping. You're going to have a lot of employees there.
Yeah, and eventually parking garages to accommodate all the people going to that area. And then, Creighton University has ambitious plans for continued campus expansion. So I think if you go to that area 10 years from today, you're going to see a very busy, very built-out Builders District, and you're going to see a bigger, even more vibrant Creighton University. And this is kind of a golden era for Creighton, athletically, the basketball team made it to the Elite Eight, but the enrollment is doing well, and the facilities. Like if you go to Creighton right now, They're wrapping up construction on that undergraduate health sciences building. They've got a new residence.
Clarence Werner, thank you.
For the Jesuits going up. The freshman residence hall's getting close to completion. A lot of exciting stuff there on campus. And that is your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. You can learn more about that firm and what they do at noddlecompanies.com. Well, Nebraska, unfortunately, is the 8th most expensive state in which to start a business.
No.
So in the last segment, we said some good things. We talked about Nebraska being the number 1 most financially literate state. But if you want to start a business here, it's a little bit pricey.
Got to pay for quality.
Nebraska business owners pay workers $51,392 on average annually, pay 6.42% in corporate tax, and average monthly commercial electric bill of just under $432. The 5 most expensive states were, in order, Minnesota, New York, Louisiana, Alabama, and Alaska. The 5 least expensive states to start a business, in order, Nevada, Colorado, Arkansas, Montana, and North Carolina. Well, let's talk a little bit about a cool business coming to, or hopefully coming to, far southwest Omaha. So you know the former Gordman store in Lakeside Village, Lakeside Development? That'd be about 172nd and West Center Road. So this company is called Bull New England, B-O-W-L, Bull New England, and they're going to open a location called Spare Time Omaha in that former, or at least they're planning to open this in the former Gordman store right there at 172nd and West Center Road. It'll be
about 50,000 feet.
Bingo. According to the planning documents, exactly 50,000 square feet. It'll have 22 lanes, 90 arcade games, laser tag, 2 escape rooms, a full-service restaurant, and a pizzeria. Now, this company, Bull New England, that'll be operating Spare Time Omaha, is based in Vermont. They have 17 locations currently, most of them on the East Coast or Eastern states. So that'll be a nice addition. What's significant about it from a development and real estate perspective, there's yet another example of big box retail spaces becoming something very different than what they were intended.
Adaptive reuse. And actually, I think that's a neat location. It'll definitely be more visible than the V was and all of its other uses that try to make an arcade and video place on the Ring Road at Oakview Mall. I think this will get more traffic, more visibility with a grocery anchor of bakers. It's in my neighborhood, basically, and I hope they do it. It'll be interesting to see. I do have my own bowling ball.
And we are going to take our final break of the morning. And when we come back, it will be the Turner Construction Lightning Round. And I'm looking at the list right here in front of me. A lot of good stuff on there. Things that you can talk about when you get together with friends and family over this holiday weekend. So stay with us. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Sorry for the cough.
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
Scratch. Tried to.
I didn't even hear it. Did you?
Yeah, we don't need guests in this show.
In all honesty, and this is no offense to any guests that we've had.
Well, a couple.
My preference is no guest.
Yeah.
As long as we have a lot to talk about. If it was ever a light news week, I would want a guest. But so far,
when we come back,
don't ever have light news weeks.
When we come back from the break, can I say that make sure to watch the uncut version on YouTube, because Jeff showed us all his tattoos, which is technically true.
I never showed any tattoos. I don't even have a tattoo.
That's it. But I said you showed all your tattoos, which is true.
Unity Wellness.
Let's just focus on the content.
Yeah. What Jeff's saying is no.
Maybe let's focus on like the content.
I think every last break we should have the show. We should have like a secret word, so just like Pee-wee's Playhouse. The secret word is chair. So people during the week say chair. Then, like, we give them something, or we do a dance, or
What do you think? Still work on it?
Maybe you should be in charge of that initiative.
All right, the secret word, not share. The secret word. The secret word is The secret word is Rumpelstiltskin.
He's in charge of that, just like he's in charge of putting that one thing on Facebook. Which I forgot what it was. What was that again?
What is it?
Oh, the map of the
riverfront?
Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah.
Brad?
Maybe if you find it, Brad or I could put it on there for you.
Yeah.
You're in charge of finding it. If you find it, I'll put it on Facebook for you.
Just because I'm not technically inclined.
He doesn't know how to put that on Facebook.
Just because I don't always shower on the weekend.
And in all fairness, I don't think Brad ever gave you I don't know if Brad ever gave you a password or anything to post things on that page.
Just because I don't have a password.
You know, trusted.
Doesn't mean these guys are any better than me. They're smarter.
Just better at Facebook.
About 5 minutes.
Are we ready? Okay.
News Radio 1110 KFAB anytime with the talkback mic on iHeartRadio. Just
And it's the lightning round here on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Turner Construction. Turner Construction is building Omaha's future. Got a big team of full-time employees right here in the Omaha market. They're the number one, Turner Construction is the number one builder in the United States of America for healthcare, commercial, education, and pharmaceutical manufacturing. And so this is a company that has a deep bench, deep resources, a deep history. And a lot of times with Turner, people think, oh, well, they're a big, huge company, and based in New York and Fortune 500 and all that sort of thing. The vast majority of their projects are under $5 million in value. And so they have so many projects every year that are small and medium sized as well. And while they're famous here in town for doing the Sarpy County Data Center, $1 billion plus project, also I see them all over town building these Chase Bank branches and lots of other retail build outs. So the main thing you need to know about them, very good people, especially that Omaha team. They're Omaha locals who really know and love the market. And we thank Turner Construction for making this lightning round possible. All right. Well, here it goes, Trenton. First of all, a couple weeks ago, people may recall we talked about 2 bars from the state of Iowa that would be coming to the Capital District. We now know their names. One of them is going to be the Stuffed Olive, which martinis, but also a full restaurant. And then the other one is Roxy. And this one is defined on the Facebook page as, quote, a new concept celebrating individuality and weirdness that make all of us unique. So that will be an interesting bar.
Definitely interesting.
The 2 of them combined will occupy a 7,500 square foot space on the west side of the building that also has Texas de Brazil. Bottles and Barrels recently held a grand opening at 5331 South 204th Avenue. That's basically just southwest of 204th and Q. It's a locally owned liquor store, and what makes it unique, customers are allowed to self-pour more than 16 different wines, 16 bourbons and whiskeys, 24 beers, and 4 pre-batched cocktails.
They self-pay for them as well?
Now, a lot of people are now talking about pre-batched cocktails or cocktails already made on tap. And I don't know, I'm not saying anything disparaging about these because I've never been to Bottles and Barrels, but I'm kind of a cocktail snob. And the whole idea of like when you get a cocktail that's pre-mixed, I don't like it. So I'm a little bit skeptical about all these places that are talking about pre-batched, pre-mixed cocktails on tap.
Like clamato juice.
Maybe they're outstanding. Who knows? So De Leon's Mexican Food has opened at 168th and Harrison. Cone Flower Creamery was named the best ice cream parlor in the Midwest Living's Best of the Midwest Awards last month. Cone Flower's the Blackstone District. And guess what? Cone Flower just opened their Millwork Commons location a few days ago. So need to get there and try that. Can I make a confession?
Yes.
I have never tried Cone Flower Creamery.
You're kidding me.
Not kidding. I've tried
that.
But every time I've gone there, there's been a line, and if it's not the Great Depression, I don't wait in line for food.
That explains your svelteness.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate the compliment. So we have a new restaurant coming in called Jackson's Fair Deal Cafe. It opens today at the Fair Deal Village Marketplace, 2118 North 24th Street. This is from a restaurant called Jackson's Takeout at 62nd and Ames. So this will be the new sit-down concept. Opened at 8 a.m. this morning. Tagline is real food, real fast by Omaha natives. Jackson's Fair Deal Cafe.
Do you know what type of food it is?
To me, when I looked at it, it looked just kind of like a mix of like American and maybe kind of American and comfort.
Okay.
And when I was looking at some of the pictures, kind of American and maybe some comfort, Southern comfort type food.
Okay.
So this was interesting. Last week, we announced that Malara's is closing on April 15th. They didn't make it to April 15th. They're already closed.
I talked to them, and anybody that's looking to do something with their buildings, give me a call.
Yeah, so apparently, people loved Malara's so much, they heard they were closing, so they swamped the place, ran out of food, and so they had to close earlier than April 15th. So people,
sadly, Mrs. Malara passed away last month.
Yeah, people are going to really miss that place. That was one, because it was tucked in the south side. I probably only went there a couple times a year, but when I did, I always loved it. Just a good place that is going to be sorely missed in the Omaha market. And then construction is now underway for On the Border in Papillion.
Finally, how long? We've been talking about that for 7 years probably.
Has it been that long? Yeah. 7 years? Wow. Okay, so it's going to be in a former pizza ranch on 72nd Street in Papillion. The music's playing, which means we are done for this week. We appreciate you joining us. I'm Jeff Beals.
Happy Easter. I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, D&M Roofing and Siding, and Turner Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.